Welcome to today's show, brought to you by HDI Local Chapters. HDI Local Chapters is the organization that brings together people in the IT, service management, and technical support communities. To find out more about HDI Local Chapters, please visit us at www.hdilocalchapters.org. I'm your host, Tom Wilk, for today's weekly live stream show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. Today, our episode is on basically anything but gaming. It's kind of a spoof on the where we're at. But today, my guest is Melissa Ding. Melissa is a technology enthusiast with a special passion for hardware, which is why we invited her to the show today. And while she especially loves mechanical keyboards, she is also a gamer, an avid esports watcher, and proud member of PC Masters Race. Currently, she is an IT support consultant at Carnegie Mellon University, where she puts her passion for hardware to great use, supporting our students, staff, and faculty in the School of Computer Science. And, wait, there's more. In her free time, Melissa enjoys petting and photographing her 2 cats. Welcome to the show, Melissa. Yeah. So today's discussion, as I said, was about building your own computer. And I got to tell you, I'm sure you can see some gray hair in there. I have not built my own computer for a very long time, and I'm sure you would all laugh if you saw my first computer. I might mention it here a little bit later. But I want to ask the audience first, who out there has built their own computer in the past 2 years? And what was the purpose for you building it? Was it to game? Was it for CADing, engineering, work? What was it? We'd love to hear. Why don't you tell us again, just real quick, about the why you got into the building your own machine and where you started.
Yeah, so I got into building my own machine because I got more serious about gaming, and so I started doing some research and started, getting parts together and learning how to put together my own PC.
Nice.
So in this case, like I said, I have a GTX 1080 Ti because I wanted to game at a high frame rate at 1440p resolution, because that's what the resolution for my main gaming monitor. And I have a high refresh rate as well, so I wanted to make the most use of it.
Awesome. So I wanted to share with the audience some more pictures. These are pictures. Tell us what these pictures are of, Melissa.
These pictures are from my builds throughout the years. So the first picture on the top left, that was my very first custom PC build. That one had a i5 2500K and a P8P67 motherboard. It was a good motherboard and it was a good chip at the time, and it lasted me several years. I had also a AMD 6870 graphics card, and since it was kind of pretty basic and I had limited funds at the time, I just had a basic air cooler on that rig.
Nice.
Please don't judge me too harshly for the awful cable management.
Hey, working as used to be a cable guy for a big company. That's not bad. Trust me. Looks okay to me. All right. So now, Melissa, that looks great, and that looks like a computer that I might open up at work, or one of the ones that I may have put together myself when I used to have time to do that. But what I really find fascinating about I think this is your recent computer, is that you actually used water cooling, right? Is this your current computer that we have here on the screen?
Yes.
Awesome.
That's my current computer.
So tell me, why did you pick water cooling for your computer? Why not just use more fans?
I decided to go with water cooling because I wanted a challenge and I wanted better temperatures for my processor, and just because it looked really cool.
It does. So here's the thing, I'm looking at your pictures, and What's really cool here is like I have different stages I think of your build, and so what were the challenges of installing water cooling? I see paper towels and buckets, and I think that's what I see. Is that what we're seeing here?
Yes, that's right. It was actually a really big challenge because it was the first time I have gone into custom water cooling with an actual loop. As you can see with like my previous pictures, I think I used a closed loop cooler, so it wasn't quite there. So I had to open up the kit. They had instructions. The instructions were actually pretty good in the manual. So it was pretty easy to tell which parts went where. I did run into some challenges, however, as you can see with I had to tie up some paper towels in there, make sure it didn't leak all over my build.
Absolutely.
So one of the fittings actually in that kit was defective.
Not the right kit to be defective parts.
No. So I didn't realize it at first, but it was the reason why it kept leaking at first. So, and I wasn't sure why that was happening. So I ended up having to take it apart. The fittings are the metal fittings that go flush up to the pump or the CPU block, and it was missing a rubber gasket.
Oof. So being that I do a lot of hardware coverage and stuff for in my day job, man, I sure hope the manufacturer of that part would be willing to cover any part that got blown in. I mean, this is the computer system that and if we have time, we'll talk about that. You build is let's just say it's not cheap, and to have it ruined by one little leaky gasket sure would be terrible.
Yeah, they definitely stood by their product. I did end up RMAing it, but I was really impatient because I really wanted this build to be done, and it was already taking a few days. So I just ended up Amazon priming a new set of fittings.
You are talking to someone that doesn't know patience is a virtue, so trust me. All right, so Melissa, we talked about the inside of your computer, but I know from some of the folks that I work with, and I know you're one of them, customization is all the rage. So tell me, what kind of keyboard, mouse, or mouse pad, what stuff do you use outside of the computer? What do you use and why?
So I really love my peripherals. I always have a lot of them. I like to test new things out. For keyboard, I have a mechanical keyboard. That's pretty much a given. That's pretty much all I use, and I bring my own mechanical keyboard to work at times as well. I just like how it feels when I type on the keyboard and the customization options with the keycaps.
Nice. So I know when we spoke earlier, you were saying something about a hardware first aid kit. So tell the audience a little bit about what is a hardware first aid kit and what's in your kit? Not your wallet, but what's in your kit?
So in the hardware first aid kit, basically I have a bunch of tools that I would use to help me do maintenance or just keep my computer clean. So I have a bunch of different screwdrivers with magnetic tips. I have extra screws for my case and different parts of the computer. I have a compressed air vac as well, which is really good for cleaning out the inside of my PC because it's something that you should regularly do just to make sure your computer is not getting overheated and it just running well.
Nice. So I have I guess a very basic computer kit for mine, but I also rely on people like you to fix mine when I break it here, for work. But yeah, that's a different subject for a different day. So listen, we are down, believe it or not, Melissa, we are down to the last few minutes, less than 2 minutes of our session here. So I want to ask this now, I know that I think I was sharing with some folks that my son is building his own computer right now. He's doing, buying the parts, and oh my goodness, I can't believe how expensive this can get. So what recommendations would you give to somebody that wants to build their own computer without maybe spending a ton of money? Any resources or ideas, suggestions?
Some good resources I would recommend that I've used when I've been putting together my own builds, the subreddit Build a PC. There's also build a PC sales subreddit for checking out deals to make sure you're not overpaying, and so you can save money and just spend other your like whatever you save on other parts. I also like Tech, Tom's Hardware. There's just a lot of good resources where they have guidelines for actually a bunch of different price budgets and even like incremental builds into incremental upgrades. And they have benchmarks for like especially graphics cards for different games and things like that.
Oh yeah, when in our chat channel here, somebody's mentioned AMD is a nice solution too if you want to save some money. So Melissa, we are down to like the last 30 seconds, and someone asked to me ask you to tell us more about keycaps.
Keycaps, I love keycaps. They're really awesome. I actually have a bunch of different like custom keycaps, like especially sets. They just make the typing experience so much better. It's so awesome that you can share with a bunch of like people who share the same enthusiasm, like on the mechanical keyboard subreddit and like Instagram.
Nice. All right. Well, having said that, that is the end of our show. Melissa, I'd like to thank you for being part of it and take time out of your busy schedule and your evening. And thank you. And
thanks again for having me here, Tom. And thanks for everyone tuning in. Have a good night. And thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Awesome. Thank you. So, let me make sure. So before we go, I just want to make sure that I remind everybody to go to the HDI Local Chapters website if you want to find out more about HDI Local Chapters and maybe finding a chapter near you. Again, if you can on the bottom of the screen here, we have the Twitch channel. We'll restream this on HDI Local on YouTube, and you can also find more about us on HDI Local Chapters in LinkedIn as well. And if you're interested, again, as I always say, if you're interested in being in the show, please email me at tomwilkhdi@gmail.com, and would love to have you on the show. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in tonight, and we'll see you again next week, same time, same channel.